I make almost $1,000 a week in profit selling an adult product on Amazon at 50% margins. And Amazon won't let me run a single ad on it. So in this video, I'm going to show you why that ad ban is the reason that these margins are so high, and then something about this corner of Amazon that almost nobody talks about. So here's what the numbers actually look like. Now, ask most sellers what their margin is, and they'll typically give you a number that's before ads. And that's not the real number. The real number is whatever's left after PPC takes its cut. And on my first brand, that cut was brutal. You'd be having a great sales day, open up your numbers, and then PPC had quietly eaten half of the win before I even saw it. So what is the product that I'm selling now? Well, it's a couples card game, and Amazon flags that as an adult product and a drinking game, which makes it ineligible for advertising. Not that it's harder to advertise, it's actually ineligible. So there's no setting that fixes it, and we knew that going in. And every single person that I talked to treated this as a deal breaker, but it's the single biggest reason that the numbers work, right? Now, 5 things stack on top of each other here, and none of them alone would do it. 1, it's cheap to make and it's not cheap to buy. A deck of cards costs very little to produce, and it sells for real money. And most sellers chase margin by raising their price on the same cost structure that everybody else has, but this one starts on the cost side. So that's a huge win. And number 2, nothing eats it, right? So we mentioned that there's no ad spend, and I mean zero. So on a normal product, that's the biggest line item that you have after your cost of goods and after the Amazon FBA fees. But the fact that we don't have any PPC means that we are strictly running off of that net profit margin after those cost of goods. And number 3, it's an easy product on all that boring stuff. So it's small, it's light, it's cheap, it's easy to ship, there's nothing that breaks, nobody returns it because it's something they couldn't figure out. And number 4, the ad ban actually thins the field. Most sellers aren't going to want to touch a category that they can't advertise in, so there's much less competition than the demand actually justifies. And number 5, it forced us to earn the rank the hard way. So no ads means no shortcuts to page 1, and that 5th one is really the whole video. So let's get into that. Now, one quick thing before we go deeper, I'm putting the doc for this as well as the checklist for this in my free community, which is in school. The link for that is down below. Let's get back to it. Okay, so here's the part that nobody talks about. When people hear adult product, they picture some sort of tiny weird corner of Amazon with 50 buyers in it, and that's not what this is. So we have couples games, date night stuff, party games, normal products bought by normal people, mostly as gift, and of course there's a lot of the weird stuff too. Now, if you saw the amount of searches that were on that one keyword, that's not a dead corner, that's a real market that most sellers have decided just doesn't exist. Okay, so now let's jump onto Amazon and look up one of the main keywords that our product ranks on so that you can see the search volume as well as the plethora of very interesting products that show up under that keyword. Okay, so now that we're on Amazon, let's look at some of these keywords. We'll look at a couple where we can actually see the search volume that comes behind some of them, as well as the overall types of products that you can see in these particular categories. So let's come in and just type couples games for adults. Okay, so this keyword over here you can see has 2,600 searches per month. Now, is that a low number? Absolutely not. And the best part is it's not an extremely high number either, because you'll see as you get more familiar with keywords how high these search volumes can actually go, which is actually a bad thing. So what we see here with these particular card games is that this one here has 1,000 plus bought last month, 700 plus bought last month, 5,000 plus bought last month, 2,000 plus bought last month, right? You can see that their price points are not super high. However, we know that the margins are crazy high on this. So these numbers that they're putting up every single month in terms of sales volume is giving them massive amounts of net profit at the end of each month. 200 plus bought last month, 700 plus bought last month, 800 plus bought last month. So you can see exactly how exciting this can be, right? So let's actually take one of these products and let's see what keywords they are ranking for. Okay, so you can see this keyword here, right? Let's see what that is, because obviously that is going to be a very risky keyword in the eyes of Amazon that, as you can see, does not have any sponsored results here, right? It just jumps right to organic. So this is exactly what we're talking about here. And you can see a lot of those similar products are showing up, but you can also see some newer ones showing up again, with crazy sales that are happening here, right? So this is what's so exciting about this particular niche on Amazon is there's clearly a lot of demand, clearly a lot of search volume. This particular keyword, look at the search volume on that, tons, right? So there's lots of people searching this. It's a very, very exciting corner of Amazon that you can kind of get lost in, to be honest. Now, in a normal category, the first thing that you see is sponsored, 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 right? And then you eventually see some organic results. But page one is an auction, and the auction goes to whoever spends the most. But in this category, nobody can run those ads, not me, and not the guy who's been selling for 10 years with $50,000 a month in ad spend budget. So the position actually gets decided by the things that you can actually control without money. So relevance, keyword placement, how well your listing converts, your reviews, your sales velocity, all this sort of stuff. So that is the most level playing field that I've ever seen on Amazon. And a brand new seller and a 10-year veteran are standing on the same square, if you ask me, because the veteran's biggest advantage just got switched off for both of them. So here's what that looked like for us. Before Amazon came through with their new recent title changes, we were really just using our best possible keywords that we could put forth in our title, as well as our bullets and description, and ranking for some keywords inside of our A+ content, this sort of stuff that would really help us maximize and cast a wide net for what keywords we wanted to rank on organically. And since the title changes, we've actually kind of dialed back from that, using a lot less keyword stuffing and more so a use case or experience-based keyword approach. Honestly, nowadays, less is more when it comes to these keyword searches, and particularly with the adult category, we have to be super careful not to include some keywords that might be a little too explicit, right? Because those could actually get your listing adulted, meaning, well, you can't run ads on it like ours, but if you're fully adulted, then you actually aren't able to even rank organically on these keywords. Now, I want to be clear about the timing of our launch, because we launched about October or November of 2025. And when we actually started getting those initial sales and ranking on these initial keywords, we were in perfect timing for our Valentine's Day big holiday, which of course is huge in this niche. And that is what really skyrocketed our sales to doing over 100 units a day, but also over $1,000 in profit per day inside of this niche. So it was a little slow and steady at the beginning, and that's totally fine with us. And after the sales of Valentine's Day, of course, there is a little bit more of a lull in comparison to those glory days. But once you actually do start to pick up steam and you start gaining some solid reviews from your product, you can sustain some solid organic placement inside of this niche year round. Okay, so how do you find some of these products for your own brand? Well, there's 4 steps. So first one is you're gonna start searching some keywords on Amazon that you think might be a little bit more explicit, and you can confirm that once you see the lack of sponsored placements. And number 2, you can check the search volume on some of these keywords. You will see that for a lot of them, the search volume is super high, especially in the off season outside of Q4 and Valentine's Day, these sorts of holidays. And once you see the lack of sponsored placements, as you just saw, you will see that this is a huge, huge niche that is driven by a lot of organic traffic. Number 3, and this is a kicker, when you're looking at the top listings in these categories, especially ones where they have not a lot of love put in them, no pun intended, because of the lack of PPC, and they're just in a lot of cases throwing something on Amazon and hoping for the best, you're going to see that the competition is actually extremely weak in these categories because they have terrible photos, really thin bullets, lazy titles, and you can actually realize that there's a real edge that you can come into the market with if you have a product that is actually putting on a little bit more of a presentation for that potential buyer. And number 4, ask yourself the honest question: can I bring a product into this niche that is going to be desired by the people who are shopping on these search pages? And make sure that you're actually putting some thought and creativity into this as well, because you don't just want to throw something up on Amazon lazily and hope for the best. You want to bring a product to market always, regardless of the niche, that is going to be desirable by that potential buyer. Because in this space, you cannot drive that traffic with PPC. You have to do it organically, which means that's all about your offer, your listing quality, your product quality through the reviews and ratings, and just generally the type of niche that you go into. And the reason that nobody teaches this is almost always because Amazon education is built around PPC, and a strategy that starts with step one, there's no PPC, is not something that people are really willing to talk about, as well as the fact that the adult niche is a little bit more taboo on the day-to-day Amazon selling communities. Just be prepared that if your friends and family start to ask you what kinds of products you are selling on Amazon, things might get a little bit awkward. And that awkwardness is the moat. And I don't want to sell you on this without the other side, right? No ads means no lever. So when we want to force volume for a specific week, there is nothing really to turn up, right? Your launch could be a little bit slower as a result because there's no accelerant. So you have to make sure that you're doing everything as best as possible, because all you have is the organic way of doing things. And if you're launching your first product, I still think that you should stay in open, simple, evergreen categories. This isn't a nudge to go sell adult products. It's a lens for spotting where margin and visibility actually come from. Okay, so if you want help figuring out where these opportunities might be for yourself and for your own brand, you can book a call with me, and the link for that is down below. And as I mentioned before, there is a free school community called the Grow with FBA that you can join as well, where we unpack a lot of these opportunities on Amazon, as well as a lot of issues that people like yourself are having currently when it comes to building their own brands. If you like this video, hit subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.